What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Evan King back with another one. Recently I just saw an interview with Orlando Brown and it had me thinking like, damn, I haven't seen this dude in a minute. Orlando Brown, obviously the young star that used to be in the shows like That's So Raven, Family Matters. He had a couple of skits here and there back in the day, who went off his rocker. And with just seeing him just come out of nowhere, it just triggered me to like do something like, a little homework. See what's going on. See what this guy's been through in the past couple of years. So we have the downward spiral of Orlando Brown. It's your boy Evan King. Please like, share, and subscribe before we get playing to the video, and support the channel because your boy's consistent. So with that being said, thanks.
Y'all see that little white ass baby with that? All my kids look like me, goddammit. I know the strength of my cum. How Diddy's trying to kill me. I got to have sex with one handicapped girl. It was one handicapped bitch.
You know, and it's like, come on, man. Stop trying to make me look unsmart.
This is what can happen when a child works a full-time job from age 8, making all kinds of money that is being mismanaged or potentially stolen, on top of experiencing all kinds of dark things that go on behind the scenes out of the public view. Stay hydrated. Orlando Brown was a funny child, full of energy and had an infectious personality. Growing up in Los Angeles, California, his parents knew it was possible to get their child into acting. His godfather knew of a young talent management agency, and after a few auditions, he landed his first role as Tiger in the movie Major Payne. The movie wasn't wildly successful, but it is a classic 90s family film with great jokes and a heartwarming ending. I personally love this movie. Acting alongside Damon Wayans and Karen Parsons was a huge resume builder, especially for his first film.
This was his resume since 1995 from kids. Sheesh.
From here, he became a go-to in Hollywood for a funny, adorable child role. From 1995 to 2000, Orlando had 17 different TV roles.
It's crazy. Like, as they're giving us these playbacks, I remember this kid as a youth on all these shows. Wow. He's really been in the game.
Family Matters, The Jamie Foxx Show, Safe Harbor, and Two of a Kind were his biggest gigs. From age 8 to 13, Orlando was working harder than I probably ever have in my whole life. But in the 2000s, he didn't slow down. He would land a huge role on the Disney Channel alongside Raven-Symoné. Raven was a very successful child star. She and Orlando both acted alongside Damon Wayans. They were both on popular sitcoms. They were both go-to child stars for family-friendly shows, films, and cartoons. They interconnected with all the same people in
I ain't gonna front. Reflecting and looking back at it, you want to talk about kids that were ahead of their time? Orlando Brown and Raven-Symoné. Raven-Symoné, her confidence at just a early, like, bro, she was like age 5, bro. Like speaking well and just being able to articulate herself and just having this confidence. Like, you could just tell a child star when you see one, and Raven-Symoné was it back in the day, bro.
Hollywood for a few years now, so it only made sense to give them a show together. That's So Raven. The idea was created by Michael Poirier, creator of Hannah Montana, as well as produced by David Brookwell and Sean McNamara, who created Even Stevens. The show was bound for success. Raven Baxter is a psychic high school student that allows her to see visions of the future. Often the plot revolves around Raven trying to prevent this vision from happening because she didn't like the outcome. Usually she miscalculates the events, which gets her, her friends, or family into even more trouble. Raven's two best friends, Chelsea and Eddie, are the only ones that know about her abilities and act as her confidants throughout the show. Eddie, played by Orlando Brown, is the athletic, overconfident, aspiring rapper.
Believe me, you ain't never heard a young man that can blaze the track, ridiculous cat that can dribble behind his back.
Chelsea, played by Annalise van der Pol, is the dumb blonde stereotype best friend. The show was known for its wacky plots, intricate costumes, and integrated music. Raven, Anna, and Orlando are all talented musicians, not just comedians. Anna has had a 15-year career on Broadway. Raven was the frontwoman of the Cheetah Girls who performed world tours and sold millions of albums. And Orlando, we'll talk about his music career in a bit. This was the Disney Channel's first multi-camera sitcom, and it was reported to be the highest rating original program.
Hold on, you said multi-camera sitcom? I don't even know what he means, but like...
First multi-camera sitcom, and it was reported to be the highest rating original program in the network's history. 100 episodes total, averaging over 3 million viewers per episode.
3 million viewers per bruh. 3 million? tuning in to watch That's So Raven? Okay.
Show and cast were nominated for various awards over 50 times. The roaring success of That's So Raven led to Fillmore, where Orlando voiced the main character.
Fillmore, I'm on it.
Then the Proud Family movie and TV show where he voiced Sticky Webb.
Well, peep this.
Wow.
I programmed my pager to pick up a signal from the government spy satellite.
Orlando at this point had a wildly successful youth acting career for over 10 years.
I remember when I couldn't have none of this stuff, you know what I mean? So to save up and to be able to have and go in and say, you know what, I want that for myself. I have it now.
Orlando was on top of the world, but he had a slip-up. He was arrested. In 2007, Orlando was driving through the west side of Houston at 1 a.m. when he was pulled over because his headlights were off. He consented to a search and the officer found some grass on the driver's side door. He was charged with misdemeanor possession and released on bond. I didn't know.
So you got arrested for obviously they're talking about weed.
What was in the car. That's not what I do. I consider myself a youth activist, he said. I don't want this arrest lingering over my head. I love what I do. Why jeopardize what I built? An honest mistake, a sincere apology. But Disney in 2007 demanded the squeaky clean image of their actors, so the repercussions were brutal. From here, he never worked with Disney ever again.
So wait, so he gets arrested for possession of marijuana, right? Like, let's just call it what it is. And Disney just completely abandons him. It's one of the craziest things, because when you look at day and age, right? Like, you could literally go to a dispensary anywhere and purchase weed over the counter and it's all fine. But I always had a problem with like these billion-dollar companies in which they have someone that's helping them make money, and in a moment of crisis when they actually need them, right? When the individual needs the company to back them up or help them enter a rehab facility or just help them clean their image, they just completely cut ties. I've seen it. You see it with major sports, football, basketball. Like, anybody catches a charge, they just try to erase you as if you never existed. And for Disney to do that to one of their child superstars, that's helped. Damn, that's tough.
Orlando was always passionate about music,
weed.
so he pursued it. Instead of going the typical route of signing to a major label and using his Disney fame as leverage, he decided to remain independent.
Youngstar Entertainment, the League Entertainment coming to you soon. You know what I'm talking about? M-Law, Youngstar, we out.
Peter Pan was the name of his new single that was an attempt to capitalize on the ringtone rap dance era 2 years after Soulja Boy peaked. At this time, he seemed to have a good outlook on the way it was all going.
Everything is a blessing. I can't complain about nothing, man. I'm just happy with my life right now.
However, none of his music ever hit Billboard, never earned any certifications, or got any mainstream publicity. He never did any tours and barely did live performances outside of maybe a club appearance or an empty baseball stadium.
Empty baseball stadium, my boy. Damn. So yeah, like no support whatsoever regarding this entire situation. Like he just had to basically start from ground up.
Other than a Facebook page, I can't even be certain that Youngstar Entertainment is a real business. Sure, some of the songs did get decent YouTube views, but without the support of the music industry, I'd be willing to bet he never made any substantial money from music. Any publicity he got from red carpet events he would use to promote his music.
So what's going on with you?
Well, you know, I'm pushing my new single to Peter Pan and some brand new dance.
His new sitcom, The Orlando Brown Show.
I wrote The Orlando Brown Show, which is my sitcom. I have a reality show. I have a cartoon. I got a lot of stuff going on.
He promoted these two projects for years, but I could not find any proof that they ever existed. Conspiracy theorists might suggest that he was blackballed and exiled from the entertainment industry because of Disney. Or the more likely reason is while pursuing an independent career, making shows, films, and music, corporations can't make as much money off of you, therefore they probably don't want to do business with you. So maybe these projects did exist, but he couldn't get them off the ground without a substantial amount of cash. His first DUI. In 2011, Brown was driving in Hollywood without a license plate. After pulling him over, the cops suspected he was drunk, and after failing a sobriety test, he was booked in the famous Hollywood station. After failing to appear for court, he became wanted for failing to prove that he enrolled in an alcoholic education class, which then led to another DUI. Clearly, he has a problem with drinking and driving, but he still seemed to be in good spirits.
What happens is when you're young and you're a child star, whatever, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, so, you know, no one's going to believe it right now. My music, I'll stop it because of the Disney thing and everything. But, you know, the fans know I've been trying for years.
So how is he making money? How is he surviving if his music career was failing? People think that Disney stars are rich and set for life. This couldn't be further from the truth. The highest paid Disney stars are looking at maybe $30,000 per episode. There are also no royalty deals. Disney stars don't even get into
No royalty deals. Is that even legal? So time out. You could be 10 years, 20 royalty deals basically for anybody watching is basically you getting paid for shows that remain on television way after the series is done. So you're still entitled to a check if they're going to keep airing, you know, it's like likeliness kind of scenarios. So you mean to tell me you could be on Disney and not get paid royalty deals and then they're still playing your shows? Like they still play, well, not that I know, but I'm, you know, Disney Plus got like the Hillary Duff show or whatever, Liz McGuire and all the, they don't pay you a lick? You don't get royalties? I can't get over that, man. I mean, that's still not even as bad as the original Power Rangers deal. Like, I don't know if you guys know about the original Power Rangers, but their deal was beyond toxic. These guys were out here saving the world and still had part-time jobs. You know what I mean? But to not give royalty deals to That's So Raven, that show was garnering 3 million people per episode, and they're not entitled to royalty deal? Sheesh.
To Disneyland for free. You think they're paying you for their also no royalty deals? Disney stars don't even get into Disneyland for free. You think they're paying you for their reruns? So 30K would be like main character money with managers that know how to negotiate. Orlando being a side character, I would say 15,000 per episode with a good deal. 100 episodes, that's 1.5 million over 4 years. On top of animated shows and films, it's possible he could have made a few $1 million over his 12-year run. But most children don't have any concept of the money they're making.
See, let me tell you something. As a kid, you don't know that you're getting paid shit.
Most of the time, families are poorly managing the money or straight up stealing it. We have
Yeah, I could agree with that too, because at that time it's like, yo, you've made it, you've broken through, especially from a black family household where it's just like he's seeing more money than he's probably ever seen in his life. The financial literacy isn't there, the planning for his career isn't there. He just, at that moment as a kid, you probably think that money's always going to be there. So you're not really preparing for the worst case scenarios as which he probably comes to face later on.
I have no actual proof, but judging by the way the rest of his story goes, it indicates he was struggling. Orlando Brown sentenced to 180 days in jail. He just kept evading the courts, failing to pay his DUI fines, and failing to complete his alcohol education class. When he got out, things got worse. Orlando
That would definitely sure as hell end a Disney career.
Was outside a 40-year-old woman's apartment in North Hollywood threatening her. She claimed they were acquaintances and he made sexual passes at her, in which she denied, which led him to exploding in rage. Orlando says the woman was stalking him and he went to the apartment to tell her boyfriend nothing was going on between them. His story does
Stop the cap. If I have a stalker, I'm not going to the stalker's crib, period, for anything. Let alone to try to tell the stalker's partner that, yo, your girl is stalking me. I don't know. Maybe it's true, but, you know, I was born that day, but not today.
doesn't really make any sense, and you can feel this is another drug-induced episode. He managed to land a short cameo in Straight Outta Compton, as well as a lead role in an indie film called Smoke-Filled Lungs. But the big news of 2015 was That's So Raven reunion on The View.
Oh, that a reunion?
Come out here, please. Right now.
Bro.
The link-up was wholesome, and everyone seemed to be positive and happy. Orlando showed off his terrible hand tattoo of the cast, which Raven loved. But they showed off his... The link-up was wholesome, and everyone seemed to be positive and happy. Orlando showed off his terrible hand tattoo, which Raven loved. But there was a particular question asked on The View that sparked a lot of people's interest.
Who dated the most cast and crew members? Uh-oh.
I might go with Annalisa Vanderpool on this.
I think they're calling me a slut is what's
Damn.
happening. No, it was just we all had a really nice relationship with each other. We're gonna keep it real simple.
Yeah, we did.
This clip seems harmless, but it's pretty obvious that the 4 cast members all know what Raven was hinting at, but the audience has no idea. We also know this clip was changed in post-production because the promotional clip for the episode had something else in there.
We used to date. We used to break up.
So the part where Orlando says, "we used to date," was used in the promo clip, but cut out of the real episode. Raven did deny the allegations, but only the people who were in the audience that day know what was said. But Orlando kept opening up about the past.
I mean, was there any resentment on in the cast with with her being chosen for the lead role after
Oh
the
no,
fact?
because at the time I was dating her at the time.
If he is telling the truth, that would mean that Raven was 15 and Orlando was 13 when they started dating. Since the show officially...
I'm not even going front, bro. Because this is taking me back. I remember I used to think they were dating for real. And as a kid, I hated them for that shit. Because, you know, the crush on Raven Simone was kind of toxic back in the day, man. Before I knew what I knew now. But it doesn't matter. But I ain't going front. I thought back in the day they were dating. So I'm not surprised by that one at all.
Started filming in 2001, and Orlando said they were already together before the show even started. He took it one step further, though.
Oh, that was in the song. And yes, I did eat the pussy. I ain't gonna lie, I ate the pussy.
At the time, it was hard to tell if he was joking, serious, or delusional. I think it's obvious why he wasn't invited to do the That's So Raven reboot, Raven's Home. It's probably worth mentioning that before this first Vlad TV interview, he got arrested for striking his girlfriend, which resulted in police finding methamphetamine on him. With all the new attention on Orlando from the interview, combined with an alleged drug problem, things got worse.
I don't understand why people are just mad at me because I got to have sex with one handicapped girl. It was one handicapped bitch.
See, let me tell you something. Stevie Wonder's not really blind. You fell for that the whole time.
And I'm white mixed with German. You know, I'm a mother. You know, I don't do these things. Why would I smoke crack?
The brown of the tip, it was just, I don't know, it was this, what you call it, the areola? The areola, yeah, the areola, yeah. I remember just the areola.
His follower counts were rising, enabling more of this behavior. Vlad invited...
Shit is crazy. It's like, it's true what they say. Smooth rides ain't as fun to watch as train wrecks. Like, my boy Russ says that in one of his songs. It's true. Like, when life is going pretty, when you know, you're living your life, you're doing healthy stuff, you're doing positive stuff, nobody cares. But the moment your life is a wreck, you know, drugs, arrest, alcohol issues, that's when the followers come up. That's where the clout come up. And he's having all these kind of psychotic little breakdowns on social media, and people are just following. Like, and I'm just sitting there like, yo, where's the help? Like, where's the people around him? Where's supporters? Where's his family? Where's his real friends that could... Where are they? Because clearly this man is off his shit.
Him back.
I mean, I told you in the first interview. I mean, she gave me, and then I gave her some.
From here, he got more interviews.
They said, can you explain?
They love
I ate her.
Okay, that's what the...
I had the nam cakes. I went inside the land of the man that wants to go inside if he can, but couldn't do it, man. But I did. I said I could do it, and I can.
What the?
When you said what you said.
What?
I'm sure you're thinking, what does Raven have to say about all this?
What the hell is up with that madman Orlando Brown? Last year he had put a video saying he got you pregnant, abortion. What the hell is going on?
Well, you know, the new show Raven's Home airs Friday nights at 8 o'clock. So that's what that happened. That's what happened there.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what you call a political correct response. Like, she didn't even address that. I mean, I can't blame her, but she didn't. I can't blame her,
Raven won't
bro.
address the situation or give it any more attention. However, there was one little thing she said last year that had people wondering if she was talking about Orlando.
You know what's funny? A lot of my relationships I have confidentialities with. So I'm technically not allowed to talk about. I have been in a lot of different kinds of relationships, but my first true love relationship was both pleasurable and miserable and heartbreaking and heartfelt. It was a journey.
How old were you?
That relationship lasted, well, I started in that relationship at 13 years old and it ended in like 20.
She said 13. Which would have made... Wasn't Orlando Brown like 10 or 11? And he already alluded to that. She just can't talk about it. They actually did mess around. I don't know. Wow.
She claims to have NDAs for her previous relationships. If that was the case, then Orlando would definitely be violating those terms. However, 13 to 20 was roughly the timeline of her being on That's So Raven, a little before and a little after. Raven being 13 would make Orlando 11 at the time. The stories don't match up perfectly, but some people really believe Orlando is telling the truth despite his obvious shaky mental state. Orlando got a tattoo of Raven on his neck.
What? That ain't no tattoo, bruh. Of Raven?
He got arrested by some bounty hunters who broke into the home he was staying at and took him into custody.
You got a possession, you have a PC-148, PC-243.
After he got out, he was arrested again for skipping drug court. During the arrest, he also had a meth pipe on him. At this time, he also had a warrant out for domestic battery. A few months later, he would be arrested again, this time for trying to change the locks on the doors of a friend's restaurant. Another weird situation, but this time it landed him in jail for 15 days. After he got out,
Get away from my house, yo.
I'm away from your house. I'm away. I'm off your property.
If you come back over, I'm gonna knock you the fuck out.
I'm off your property.
with all these problems stacking up, Orlando's friends and family decided it was best for Dr. Phil to intervene and try to help him. For some reason, nobody in the comments talked about these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle contacts he was wearing as if it was totally normal.
Today I'm glad to say I'm 4 years sober, and you know, it's been quite a journey.
After this interview, it was very clear how far drugs had taken him. He wasn't able to remember how many kids he had or their ages.
What's the 2-year-old's name?
2-year-old, still in the belly. Still in the belly, we don't know yet.
2-year-old still in the belly? Oh, my son is on 2 different levels of crack here. He said the 2-year-old is still in the belly.
You said the 2-year-old don't know the name because it's still in the belly.
That's because I have a baby on the way as well. I just mentioned
So
that.
the 2-year-old is still in the belly, so that means that that child has been in there for 2 years.
Not necessarily.
Orlando had hit rock bottom, so the only way to go was up. For the next year or so, there wasn't much Orlando content, but he started releasing music consistently, and he looked a lot healthier. And his music actually isn't that bad. Sure, he has some wild conspiracy bars in there, like, I can't believe y'all still think Stevie Wonder is blind. But I mean, in terms of flow and delivery, it's not bad. I wish I could tell you this was the redemption story, but it wasn't. A clip of him after getting beat up went viral. Then he would go on manic tirades claiming that he is Michael Jackson's son and he owns the Neverland Ranch, as well as claiming that he is Will Smith's son.
Hey man, that nigga Michael Jackson, bro. You feel me? That nigga Michael Jackson, bro. That nigga set me up, bro. I'm Trent. I'm your long lost son, Trent, bitch. I'm Trent, bitch. AKA Blanket Jackson, motherfucker. The real Will Smith, motherfucker.
He also frequently talks about other rappers being gay because it gets attention. There's a large community of people out there that try to expose rappers for being gay in their private lives.
I know Young Buck's gay.
I hear that shit all the time.
I've heard about Trey Songz sucking a few dicks in his lifetime. I happen to know Diddy boys.
He went viral for changing his behavior, getting sober, and giving his life to his religion. Fans on the internet hadn't been tapped in with his life too much and probably only remembered him from his Vlad/Dr. Phil episodes. So
exactly, because he's not giving them toxic content for them to comment and retweet. Like, fucking sick.
This seemed like a monumental step, and it is a big step. His life is pretty unpredictable. One day the police are in his house, the next day he's exposing rappers.
How Diddy's trying to kill me?
Then he's on No Jumper appearing to be sober, even though he kind of denies ever being on drugs.
How long you been in recovery for?
Recovery for
drugs or alcohol?
Haven't been in.
Oh, so you don't fuck with that at all? I was kind of the impression that.
Oh yeah, nah, bro. Nah.
However, conspiracies and wacky live streams aside, he seems to be doing fine these days. Maybe even working at this pizza shop. Ultimately, Orlando is going to continue to have ups and downs. Addiction is a vicious cycle that has even plagued my family. It seems like the drugs and alcohol may have had some permanent effects on his brain, but he's still talented, still funny, and still trying to better himself. And the fact that he's still trying is monumental. We can only hope he has a support system that can prevent things from getting out of control again, and maybe one day we can see an iconic comeback from the Eddie we once knew.
Bruh, that was crazy. To go from a Disney superstar, child star, to working at a pizzeria and drug and alcohol issues. It's crazy because it's not the first time you kind of hear of stories like this. Like, this happens quite frequently. I guess what made this a bigger issue is because a lot of people resonated or recognized Orlando Brown because he's been acting in television since like the 80s as a kid, you know. And you look at this shit and it's like it makes you wonder about the village, the people around him, who are there to cater to him or support him or encourage him to get back on the right path. Man, it's unfortunate, man. Here's hoping he figures it out at some point and recaptures a glimpse of what he used to have, because like addiction is no joke. Me personally, I have no experience with it, but just watching what seemed like a dude that was destined for success to be where he's at now, just two opposite sides of the spectrum. But appreciate you guys for rocking out. Hope you guys took away something from this content. It's your boy Evan King. Like, share, subscribe to content, because you know your boy's consistent. Till then, I'm out.